Lesson 26. We are going to set down now what we term rules for right living. These are completely basic rules, rules which are definitely are a must. To them, you should add your own rules. First, we will set them down and then we will go over them again, examining them more carefully so that we may perhaps have some insight into the reasons behind them. Here they are then. Number one, do as you would be done by. Number two, do not judge others. Number three, be punctual in all that you do. Number four, do not argue about religion, not scoff at the beliefs of others. Number five, keep to your own religion and show complete tolerance to those who are of the different religion. Refrain, number six, refrain from dabbling in magic. Number seven, refrain from taking intoxicating drinks and drugs. Shall we have a look at these rules in somewhat greater detail? We said, do as you would be done by. Well, that is good enough because if you are in possession of your normal faculties, you would not stab yourself in the back, nor would you swindle yourself or overchange yourself. If you are a normal person, you like to look after yourself as much as possible. You will be living according to the golden rule. If you look after your neighbor as you would yourself, in other words, do as you would be done by. It helps, it works out. This turning the other cheek business works out with normal people. If some person cannot accept your purity of thought and motive, then after you have successed in silence two or at most three times, you would be well advised to keep free of that person's presence. In the world beyond this life, we cannot meet those who are opposite to us, those with him. We are not in harmony. Unfortunately, we have to meet some pretty horrible people while on earth, but we need to do so from choice, but only from sheer necessity. Do so, do as you would be done by, and your character will stand in good stead and will be as a shining light to all men and to all women. You will be known as a person who does good, as a person who keeps a promise, so that if you are swindled, the swindler will never get any sympathy. In connection with this, it is good to remember that not even the biggest swindlers can take a single cent away from this life. We also said, do not judge others. We may be in similar position to the person whom you have judged or condemned. You know the circumstances relating to your own affairs, but no one else does. Not even the person who is nearest and dearest to you can share the thoughts of your soul. No one upon this earth, at least, can be completely in harmony with the other person. Possibly you are married, possibly you are very happy with your partner, but even so, even in the happiest marriages, Sometimes a partner will do something which is completely mystifying to the other. Often it is not even possible to explain one's motives. Let the innocent among you be the first to cast a stone. People in glass houses should not throw stones. These are very good teachings because no one is completely innocent. If anyone was completely pure, completely innocent, they could not stay on this bad old earths of ours. So, by saying that the innocent only should throw stones, then there is no one to throw stones. We are quite bluntly all in very much of a mess down here on earth. People come here to learn things. If they had nothing to learn, they would not come here. They would go to a better place altogether. We all make mistakes. Many of us get blamed for things altogether. We all make mistakes which we have not done. Many of us do not get credit for the good which we had done. Do it matter? Does it matter? Later, when we leave this earth, when we leave our training school, we shall find that the standards are very different indeed. The standards will not be in pounds sterling, nor in dollars, nor pesos or rupees. The standards we shall then be assessed at our true worth. So do not judge others. Our third rule, be punctual in all you do. May be rather a surprise to you, but it is a logical rule. People arrange to do things, people have their plans, and there is a time and place for everything. In being unpunctual, we may upset the plans and ideas of the other person. In being unpunctual, we may build up some resentment in the person who has been kept waiting so long. And if we build up resentment and frustration, that person may take different course to that which originally was the one plan. That means that by being unpunctual, we have caused another person to take course of action not originally planned, and that is our responsibility. Punctuality can be habit quite as much as can unpunctuality. But punctuality is tidy. It is disciplining of the body, of the spirit, and of the soul too. Punctuality shows respect for oneself because it is that it means that one is able to keep one's word, and it shows respect for others because in that case we are punctual because we respect others. Punctuality then is a virtue which is well worth cultivating. It is a virtue which increases our own mental and spiritual status. Now, about religion, it is wrong indeed to scoff at another person's religion. You believe this, another person believes that. Do it, does it matter what you call God? God is God, whatever. He is God. Can you argue about the two sides of a coin? Unfortunately, throughout the history of mankind, there has been too much bad thought about religion, which should cause only good thought. We repeat to a certain extent this rule about religion in rule number 5 because we say that one should keep to one's own religion. It is rarely wise to change. While on earth, we are in midstream, the midstream of life, and it is not wise to change horses in midstream. Most of us came to this earth with certain plan in mind. For most of us, that entailed believing in a certain religion or a certain form or branch of religion, and unless there are the strongest of strong reasons, it is unwise to change one's religion. One assimilates religion as one assimilates the language when young, just as it is always harder to learn a language when one is older. So it is harder to be able to absorb the nuances of a different religion. It is also wrong to try to influence another person to change to a different religion. What may be suitable for you may not be suitable for the other person. Remember rule number 2, and do not judge others. You cannot judge what religion will suit another person unless you can get inside his skin, get inside his mind, and get inside his soul as well. Lacking the ability to do that, it may be considered an unwise thing, indeed, to interfere with, to weaken, or to scoff at the religious beliefs of another, just as we should do, as we should have, as we would be done by, we should give full tolerance, full freedom at another person to believe and worship as he or she thinks fit. We should resent interference ourselves. So let us realize that the other person may resent it also. Rule number 6 is refrain from dabbling in magic. That is because many forms of magic are harmful. There are many things in occultism which can harm one immensely if one studies without guidance. An astronomer would never gauge at the sun through a high powered telescope without taking suitable precautions, without, in fact, having some suitable sun filters in front of the lens. Even the poorest astronomer would know that gazing upon the sun through a high powered telescope would result in blindness. In much the same way, dabbling in the occult without suitable training, without suitable guidance, can lead to nervous breakdown, can lead to a whole host of thoroughly unpleasant symptoms. We are definitely opposed to the practice of taking Eastern yogic exercises and trying to torture a poor Western body into some of those postures. These exercises are designed for Eastern body, which have been schooled in these postures from the very earliest, and it can harm one immensely to get oneself in a controlled mess of bruised muscles just because the exercise has a yogic title. Let us study occultism by all means, but let us study it sensibly and with guidance. We do not advise one to commune with the dead or do other remarkable practices of that type. It can be done, of course, and is done every day, but it is a matter which can be thoroughly painful and harmful to both sides unless it is done under the competent supervision of a trained person. Some people study the daily newspaper to see what their horoscope is for that day. Many people, unfortunately, take these forecasts absolutely seriously and model their life upon them. A horoscope is useless and dangerous thing unless prepared according to the exact natal data by a competent astrologer, and the cost of such astrologer services should be high indeed because of the considerable knowledge required and the long time which the computations would take. It is not enough to take sun sign or the moon sign or the colors of one's hair or whether one's toes turn up or not. One can do it exactly only if one has the training and the data. So, unless you know of an astrologer who has the training and patience and the time available, and unless you have an ample supply of money with which to pay for all this time and knowledge, we suggest you do not dabble in astrology. It can cause you harm. Instead, study only that which is pure and innocent, such as we venture to say with due modesty, this course, which is after all but an exposition of natural laws, laws which relate even to breathing and to walking. One last rule: refrain from taking intoxicating drinks or drugs. Well, we should have said enough throughout this course to let you realize the dangers of driving the astral body willy nilly from the physical body and, as it were, stunning it. Intoxicating drinks harm the soul. They distort the impressions transmitted through the silver cord. They impair the mechanism of the brain, which we must remember is but a relieving and transmitting station concerned with the manipulation of the body up on the earth and the receipt of knowledge in the world beyond. Drugs are even worse, for drugs are even more habit forming. If one is going to take to drugs, then one is in effect abandoning all that one aspires to in this life and in giving way to the false blandishments in intoxicating drinks and drugs. One may be paving the way for life after life upon earth until one has thoroughly walked about the karma, which is that silly habit has built up for us. All life should be ordered, all life should have discipline, a religious belief. If one adheres to one's beliefs, is a harmful form of spiritual discipline. One sees nowadays teenage gangs in all the cities of the world. Throughout World War II, home ties were weakened. Perhaps the father went to the war and the mother worked in a factory, with the result that young, impressionable children may on the streets without any adult supervision, and these young, impressionable children banded together into gangs. They made their own form of discipline, the discipline of gangsterdom. We believe that until the discipline of the love of parents and the discipline of religion can take over, then teenage crime will continue and increase. If all have mental discipline, we may be able to set some sort of example to those who have not. Remember, discipline is essential. It is discipline that distinguishes a highly trained army from a disorganized rabble.